Nuclear reactor cooling is a crucial process that removes heat generated from nuclear fission in the reactor core. The heat is transferred to a secondary coolant loop, which then generates steam to drive turbines that produce electricity. Types of nuclear reactor cooling systems. There are two main types of nuclear reactor cooling systems. Pressurized water reactors, POWERs. POWERs use water as both the primary and secondary coolant. The primary coolant circulates through the reactor core, absorbing heat from the nuclear fuel. The heated primary coolant then passes through a heat exchanger, transferring its heat to the secondary coolant. The secondary coolant then boils to form steam, which drives the turbines. Boiling water reactors, BWRs. BWRs also use water as the primary coolant. However, in BWRs, the primary coolant boils to form steam directly in the reactor core. The steam then drives the turbines. Components of a nuclear reactor cooling system. The main components of a nuclear reactor cooling system include reactor core. The reactor core is the heart of the nuclear reactor, where nuclear fission takes place. The fuel rods in the reactor core contain fissile material, such as uranium-235. Primary coolant loop. The primary coolant loop circulates water or another coolant through the reactor core to remove heat. The primary coolant is typically kept at a high pressure to prevent it from boiling. Heat exchanger. The heat exchanger transfers heat from the primary coolant loop to the secondary coolant loop. The secondary coolant loop is typically at a lower pressure than the primary coolant loop. Secondary coolant loop. The secondary coolant loop circulates steam through the turbines. The steam drives the turbines, which generate electricity. Condenser. The condenser condenses the steam from the secondary coolant loop back into water. The condensed water is then pumped back to the heat exchanger to start the cycle again. Cooling tower. The cooling tower releases heat from the condensed water to the atmosphere. This helps to keep the temperature of the water in the secondary coolant loop low enough for it to be condensed. Safety of nuclear reactor cooling systems. Nuclear reactor cooling systems are designed with multiple layers of safety to prevent accidents. These safety systems include emergency core cooling systems, ECCS. ECCSs are designed to provide cooling to the reactor core in the event of a loss of primary coolant. ECCSs typically use water from a backup reservoir or from a nearby body of water. Containment systems. Containment systems are designed to prevent the release of radioactive material to the environment in the event of an accident. Containment systems typically consist of a steel-lined concrete structure that surrounds the reactor core. Conclusion. Nuclear reactor cooling systems are essential for the safe and efficient operation of nuclear power plants.